Admiral Marcus stood at the observation deck of the Imperial scout ship Harbinger, his eyes fixed on the blue-green planet floating in the vast darkness of space. His gray uniform, adorned with golden pins marking his 50 years of service to the Empire, reflected the soft glow of Earth in the viewport. "Admiral, the initial scans are complete," reported Lieutenant Smith, a young officer whose family had served the Empire for 3 generations. He handed over a data pad, his hand slightly trembling. Marcus took the pad, his weathered face showing no emotion as he scrolled through the readings. Earth was, by all standard measurements, a level 3 civilization, barely capable of lunar exploration, easy prey for the Empire's expansion. Yet something in the data made him pause. "These energy readings," he muttered, "they don't match our historical records." The Empire had conquered thousands of worlds, each following a predictable pattern of technological development. But Earth was different. Their energy usage patterns showed strange spikes and variations that defied Imperial models. "Sir, we've detected something unusual," called out Officer Reed from his monitoring station. "They're primitive satellites. They're changing orbit. It appears they're repositioning for better coverage of our location." Marcus frowned. Level 3 civilizations shouldn't be able to track Imperial ships, especially not through their advanced cloaking systems. He walked to Reed's station, studying the display with growing concern. "Show me their global communications," he ordered. The screens lit up with Earth's internet traffic, while most of it was mundane. Entertainment, social media, and commerce. There was an underlying current of activity that caught his attention. Military channels, supposedly primitive by Imperial standards, were alive with encrypted transmissions. "They know we're here," Marcus realized, his voice barely a whisper. The bridge crew fell silent. Discovery before first contact was unprecedented. Imperial protocol dictated immediate retreat and reassessment in such cases, but Marcus hesitated. His 50 years of experience told him there was more to understand here. "Launch the deep scan probes," he commanded. "I want to know everything about their military capabilities." As the probes descended through Earth's atmosphere, disguised as meteor showers, Marcus returned to the observation deck. He watched as cities on the night side of the planet sparkled like scattered diamonds on black velvet. It reminded him of his home world, long ago, before the Empire arrived with its promises of advancement and protection. The probe's data started flowing in, and with each new piece of information, Marcus's unease grew. Earth's military technology was primitive, yes, but it was diverse. While the Empire had standardized weapons and defenses across its 1,000 worlds, Earth's nations had developed dozens of different approaches to warfare. "Sir," Smith called out, his voice strained, "we've detected nuclear weapons in their arsenals. The yields, they're larger than anything in our historical records of level 3 civilizations." Marcus nodded slowly. "They developed nuclear weapons before achieving reliable spaceflight." "Interesting." More data poured in. Electromagnetic pulse weapons, kinetic kill vehicles, biological research facilities. Earth had prepared for wars that the Empire couldn't even imagine. While their technology might be primitive, their thinking was anything but. "Lieutenant," Marcus called out, "prepare a priority message to Imperial Command. Tell them," he paused, choosing his words carefully, "tell them we found something different, and recommend we proceed with extreme caution." As the message was being encoded, Marcus continued watching Earth rotate below. The Empire had standard procedures for incorporating new worlds into its domain. Quick show of force, targeted strikes at military installations, and then the offering of peace through submission. But as he studied the planet below, he couldn't shake the feeling that Earth might not follow the standard script. "Sir," Smith interrupted his thoughts, "Imperial Command acknowledges receipt. They're dispatching the 7th Fleet to begin the integration process." Marcus kept his eyes on Earth, watching as another night cycle brought darkness to different continents. "May the Empire's wisdom guide us," he muttered, an old saying that had never felt more appropriate. Because I fear we're about to wake something that doesn't know how to sleep. The Imperial Analysis Center buzzed with unusual activity. Dozens of analysts rushed between holographic displays, each showing different aspects of Earth's civilization. Director James Walker stood in the center of this controlled chaos, his expression grim. Unlike his Imperial colleagues, James knew Earth well. His great-grandparents had been among the few humans taken from Earth centuries ago, before the Empire instituted its current expansion protocols. Now, as the Empire's leading expert on primitive worlds, he faced a difficult task, explaining why Earth was different. As you can see, James addressed the Imperial High Council through a secure holographic link. Earth's technological progression doesn't follow our standard models. The council members, their faces hidden behind ornate masks representing their sectors, watched as James displayed a timeline of Earth's weapons development. Most civilizations develop space travel before advancing their weapons technology, James continued. Earth did the opposite. They created nuclear weapons before reaching their moon. They developed stealth aircraft before establishing permanent space stations. Every major technological advancement they've made has been driven by warfare or defense. One council member leaned forward. You sound concerned, Director. They're still only level 3. Their most advanced weapons couldn't scratch our ship's shields. James pulled up another display, showing Earth's internet traffic patterns. Look at their response time to our scout ship. Within hours of detecting the Harbinger, their entire military communications network lit up. But not with panic, with purpose. He zoomed in on specific data points. They're already studying us. Their scientists are analyzing every scrap of data they can gather about our ships. Their military is running simulations. Their governments are forming contingency plans. All this before we've even made contact. Impressive adaptation, another council member admitted, but hardly threatening. James shook his head. You don't understand. I studied Earth's history. When humans face a superior force, they don't give up. They innovate. During their Second World War, one side developed radar. Within months, the other side had not only copied it but created countermeasures. They went from primitive propeller aircraft to jet engines in the span of a single conflict. The displays changed to show various Earth weapons. They don't just develop technology. They find unexpected ways to use it. They turned living organisms into medicines. They transformed communication devices into weapons. They even weaponized their money through economic warfare. A younger council member spoke up. Director, are you suggesting we delay the integration of Earth over some primitive weapons and quick learning? I'm suggesting we need to rethink our entire approach, James replied. He brought up Admiral Marcus's report from the Harbinger. Earth has over 200 different nations, each with its own military doctrine. The Empire succeeded in the past because we could study one approach and counter it. Earth has hundreds of approaches, all different, all constantly evolving. The council chamber fell silent as James displayed his final piece of evidence, a statistical analysis of Earth's rate of technological advancement. This graph shows how long it took various civilizations to advance from steam power to nuclear fusion. The average is 300 years. He pointed to Earth's line on the graph. Earth did it in less than 200, and that's with multiple global wars slowing them down. They don't just learn fast. They learn from conflict. Every war they fight makes them stronger. The council's leader raised a hand. You make interesting points, Director. But the 7th Fleet is already on its way. Unless you have concrete evidence that Earth poses a real threat, the integration will proceed as planned. James looked down at his datapad, then back at the council. Just remember this. In Earth's history, every empire that underestimated a primitive opponent paid a heavy price. We might have better technology, but they have something more dangerous. The ability to turn their weaknesses into strengths. As the council members' holograms flickered out, James turned back to the displays showing Earth. He had done what he could to warn them. Now he could only watch as the Empire prepared to learn a harsh lesson about humanity's potential. The massive screens in Earth's Global Defense Command Center displayed hundreds of moving dots. The approaching Imperial 7th Fleet. General Robert Thompson stood before the gathered military leaders from around the world, his face illuminated by the blue glow of the displays. "Ladies and gentlemen," he addressed the room, "what you're seeing is not a malfunction. That's an alien fleet approaching our solar system, and they're not trying to hide anymore." The room remained silent. They had all seen the evidence over the past week: the strange readings, the mysterious objects in orbit, the unexplained signals. Now, facing undeniable proof of alien contact, Earth's military leaders showed not fear, but grim determination. "Our deep space arrays have counted over 300 ships," Thompson continued. "Based on their energy readings, each one carries enough firepower to level a continent. They'll reach Mars orbit in approximately 72 hours. Admiral Lei from the Asian-Pacific Alliance raised her hand. "What about Project Mirror?" Thompson nodded to a young scientist in the corner. Dr. Thomas walked forward, adjusting his glasses. "Project Mirror has exceeded expectations. We've successfully captured and analyzed their communication signals. Their encryption was advanced, but not unbreakable. More importantly, we've learned they call themselves the Empire." The scientist pulled up new data on the screens. "They consider us a Level 3 civilization, primitive by their standards. Their standard procedure is to demonstrate overwhelming force, destroy key military installations, and then offer peace through submission." "Not happening," muttered General Patel from India, voicing what everyone in the room was thinking. Thompson clicked to the next slide. "The good news is they're overconfident. They expect us to be shocked by their technology, paralyzed by fear. Instead, we've been preparing since we detected their first scout ship." The display showed a series of underground facilities around the world. Every major nation has activated their deep storage facilities. Military equipment and personnel are being moved to hardened locations. Civilian defense protocols are ready for implementation. "What about the Lazarus Protocol?" asked a voice from the back. The room grew even quieter. Thompson took a deep breath. "The President has authorized Lazarus Protocol. All nations with space capability have confirmed participation." Dr. Thomas stepped forward again. "We've learned more about their technology. Their shields operate on a predictable frequency pattern. Their weapons, while powerful, follow basic physics we understand. Most importantly, they have no concept of certain areas of science we've been developing." He brought up a new display showing a strange device. "This is their primary shield generator, reconstructed from their own scan emissions. And this," he pointed to another image, "is our countermeasure, developed using principles they haven't discovered." "How is that possible?" someone asked. "They're centuries ahead of us." "Because they followed a different path," Dr. Thomas explained. "They focused on energy manipulation. We focused on particle physics. They developed force fields. We developed quantum tunneling. They may have more advanced technology, but we have something they don't. Technologies they've never encountered and can't predict." General Thompson raised his hand for attention. "We have 72 hours before they reach optimal strike range. That's 72 hours to finish our preparations. Every nation represented here has agreed to share all military technology. For the first time in human history, we stand truly united." He looked around the room, meeting each leader's eyes. They expect to find a primitive civilization, divided and weak. Instead, they'll find humanity at its finest, unified, innovative, and prepared. We've spent our entire history fighting among ourselves, developing weapons and countermeasures. Now we'll show them what happens when we fight together. The room erupted in determined nods and murmurs of agreement. As the leaders began discussing final preparations, Thompson turned back to the main display. The dots representing the Imperial fleet grew slowly larger, unaware that their expected easy conquest had instead awakened humanity's greatest strength, its ability to face impossible odds and find a way to win. Admiral Marcus stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Dominion, watching as the massive fleet approached Mars orbit. The 7th Fleet stretched out before him, over 300 warships strong, their hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. "Sir," Lieutenant Smith called from his station, "Earth's communications remain unchanged. They're still broadcasting their entertainment and commercial signals as if nothing's wrong." Marcus frowned. This wasn't normal. Level 3 civilizations usually panicked when they saw the fleet. Their communications would be filled with fear, chaos, and desperate attempts at defense. But Earth just continued its normal broadcasts. "Time until optimal strike position?" he asked. 4 hours, sir." Suddenly, every screen on the bridge flickered. The Imperial communication systems, the most secure in known space, went dark for a split second. When they came back online, they showed something impossible: a single coordinated broadcast, overriding every frequency simultaneously. The image showed a simple room with a plain metal desk. Behind it sat General Thompson, his uniform bearing no special marks or medals. When he spoke, his voice was calm and measured. "To the Imperial fleet approaching Earth, this is a message from the unified governments of humanity." Marcus watched, fascinated. No Level 3 civilization had ever managed to penetrate Imperial communications like this. "We understand your intentions," Thompson continued. "You believe us to be primitive, easy to conquer. You plan to demonstrate your power, break our will to fight, and add us to your empire. We have a response to this plan." The image changed, showing a massive underground facility. "What you're seeing is one of our quantum research centers. While you focused on energy shields, we explored different paths of scientific development." The camera panned across strange devices that even Marcus couldn't identify. "In the week since we detected your scout ship, we've analyzed your technology, your shield frequencies, your weapon systems, your FTL drives. We've studied them all." Back in the room, Thompson leaned forward. "We've also detected the human aboard your command ship. Yes, we know about the worlds you've conquered before, the humans you've taken. But you should know something. They were taken from Earth centuries ago. We've advanced since then." Marcus glanced at Director James, who stood pale-faced beside him. "We have no desire for war," Thompson said. "We would welcome peaceful contact with your empire. But if you proceed with your planned invasion, you should know that we've prepared a demonstration of our capabilities." The image shifted to show a massive asteroid near the edge of the solar system. "In exactly 1 minute, we will demonstrate technology that your empire has never encountered. Consider it our first and only warning." The broadcast ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Marcus turned to his tactical officer. "Scan that asteroid. Full spectrum." Before the officer could respond, something incredible happened. The asteroid, nearly a kilometer wide, simply vanished. No explosion, no energy signature, nothing. One moment it was there, the next it had ceased to exist. "Impossible," James whispered. "The energy required to completely eliminate matter like that." "Sir," the sensor officer called out, his voice shaking. "We're detecting quantum disturbances throughout the fleet. They're scanning us. Somehow they've developed quantum sensors that bypass our shields completely." Marcus stared at the blue-green planet ahead. In all his years serving the Empire, he'd never encountered anything like this. A Level 3 civilization shouldn't be capable of such technology. They shouldn't be able to analyze Imperial tech so quickly. They shouldn't be able to develop countermeasures in days. But they had. "Send a priority message to Imperial Command," he ordered. "Tell them," he paused, choosing his words carefully, "tell them Earth has capabilities we cannot predict or counter, and recommend immediate reassessment of their classification as a Level 3 civilization." As the message was sent, Marcus watched Earth's night side come into view, its cities glittering like stars. Somewhere down there, humanity waited, united and ready. They hadn't just prepared for war, They'd changed the rules of engagement entirely. Dr. Thomas stood in the control room of Earth's quantum research facility, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around him, scientists from 20 different nations worked at their stations, each monitoring different aspects of what they were about to attempt. Phase 1 is ready, announced a scientist from Russia. Quantum entanglement field is stable. Through the reinforced windows, Dr. Thomas could see the massive device they'd built in just 7 days, the culmination of decades of secret research, accelerated by the Imperial threat. The Lazarus device, as they called it, looked deceptively simple, a series of rings surrounding a central sphere, all pulsing with a soft blue light. "General Thompson is online," someone announced, and the main screen lit up to show the general's face. "Doctor, are you certain about this?" Thompson asked. "Once we show them this technology, there's no going back." Thomas nodded. The asteroid demonstration got their attention, but they need to understand that we can do more than just make things disappear. They need to see that we can reach them anywhere. The general looked off-screen for a moment, then back. "The Imperial fleet has stopped advancing. They're holding position just past Mars orbit. This might be our only chance." "All stations, begin final countdown," Thomas ordered. Around the room, scientists began their preparations. "Remember, precision is crucial. We're not trying to destroy anything. Just show them what we could do if forced." On the massive screens above, they could see the Imperial fleet, captured by Earth's quantum sensors. Over 300 ships, each powerful enough to devastate a continent, arranged in perfect military formation. "Quantum field generators at full power," reported the Russian scientist. "Target lock established on Imperial flagship's engine section." Thomas took a deep breath. What they were about to do violated several laws of physics as the Empire understood them. That was precisely the point. "Execute Phase 1, he ordered. The Lazarus device hummed to life, its rings spinning faster until they became blurs of light. On the screens, they watched as an invisible quantum field extended across the vast distance of space, reaching out toward the Imperial fleet. "Contact in 3, 2, 1. Suddenly, the massive engines of the Imperial flagship simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris. They simply vanished, replaced by empty space. The massive ship began to drift, its power systems disrupted by the precise removal of its engine core. "Phase 1 successful," someone announced. "Moving to Phase 2. This time, they targeted one of the fleet's smaller ships, but instead of making part of it vanish, they did something even more impressive. The entire ship disappeared from its position and reappeared 50,000 kilometers away, its crew completely unharmed, but undoubtedly shocked. "Send the message," Thomas ordered. General Thompson's face appeared on every screen in the Imperial fleet, just as it had before. "As you can see, we possess technology that operates on principles your empire has never encountered. We can remove matter from existence. We can teleport objects across vast distances. And we can do this with pinpoint accuracy, without harming crew or systems beyond our targets." He paused, letting the implications sink in. "This demonstration used less than 1% of our Lazarus device's power. We have 5 more devices like this, hidden in different locations around our planet. We would prefer peace, but if you force us into conflict, we will defend ourselves with everything we have." As the message ended, Thomas watched the Imperial ships on his screens. They remained motionless, likely trying to understand what they'd just witnessed. Their sensors would be going crazy, trying to analyze technology that worked on principles they'd never imagined. "Sir," one of the scientists called out, "we're detecting massive energy fluctuations in the Imperial fleet. They're powering down their weapons." Thomas allowed himself a small smile. They'd done it. They'd shown the Empire that humanity wasn't just another primitive civilization to be conquered. They'd demonstrated that Earth had taken a different path of technological development, one that made them far more dangerous than their Level 3 classification suggested. "Send word to all stations," he ordered. "Maintain quantum field coverage of the fleet. Let's see how they respond to learning they're not the most advanced civilization in this part of space anymore." Admiral Marcus sat in his private quarters aboard the now engineless flagship, composing what might be the most important report of his 50-year career. The holographic display flickered as he spoke, recording his words for the Imperial Council. "High Council, what I am about to report will challenge everything we thought we knew about technological advancement and species classification," he began, his voice grave. "Earth has proven to be something we've never encountered before. A civilization that developed along a completely different scientific path than our own." He pulled up the sensor readings from the demonstration. "Their Lazarus device, as they call it, operates on principles our scientists can't explain. It doesn't just bypass our shields, it ignores them completely, as if they don't exist. This isn't just advanced technology. This is technology that took a completely different evolutionary path." Director James stood quietly in the corner, finally allowed to speak freely about his ancestral home. "Show them the analysis of their quantum field," he suggested. Marcus nodded and displayed the data. "Earth has developed what they call quantum manipulation technology. While we focused on energy fields and plasma weapons, they explored the fundamental nature of matter itself. They can remove objects from existence without destroying them. They can transport matter instantly across vast distances without using conventional energy." He paused, letting that sink in. "But what's most concerning isn't their technology. It's their approach to using it. They didn't attack our weapons. They didn't target our bridge. They demonstrated precise, surgical control that showed they could have destroyed us at any time, but chose not to." The sensor readings from the demonstration played again. "In 7 days, they analyzed our technology, developed countermeasures, and demonstrated capabilities we didn't think possible for centuries. They have weapons that could destroy this entire fleet, yet they chose to disable one engine and move one ship, just enough to prove their point." James stepped forward, adding his own observations. "Earth's nations, which have spent centuries fighting each other, united in days when faced with an external threat. They pooled their resources, shared their secrets, and developed defensive technology that makes our offensive capabilities obsolete." Marcus stood up, his expression serious. "High Council, I must formally recommend an immediate reassessment of Earth's classification. They are not a Level 3 civilization developing along our known technological path. They are something new. A civilization that has developed technology we don't understand and can't counter." He walked to the window, looking at the distant Earth. Their message was clear. They don't want war. They would welcome peaceful contact. But if we force conflict upon them, they have the means to defend themselves in ways we cannot predict or prevent. The sensor officer's voice came through the intercom. "Sir, we're detecting more quantum field activity. They're scanning our damaged engine section." Marcus smiled slightly. "Even now, they continue to study us, to learn. Not to find weaknesses, but to understand. They could have destroyed this fleet. Instead, they're trying to figure out how to repair the damage they caused." He turned back to the recording. "High Council, I've overseen the integration of 17 worlds into the Empire. I've never recommended abandoning an expansion plan. But Earth is different. They've taken a completely different path to the stars, and that path has led them to capabilities we never imagined." The lights in his quarters flickered as Earth's quantum fields passed through the ship again. "My final recommendation is this. Earth should not be classified as a target for integration. They should be approached as equals, a civilization that has much to teach us about the universe and its possibilities." He ended the recording and sat down heavily in his chair. In 50 years of service, he'd never failed a mission. But as he watched Earth's quantum fields dance across his sensors, he realized this wasn't a failure. It was the discovery of something new. A civilization that had found its own path to the stars. And in doing so, had changed the rules of galactic civilization forever. The Imperial High Council chamber fell silent as Admiral Marcus's report ended. The 12 council members sat motionless behind their ornate masks, processing what they had just learned. Above them, holographic displays showed Earth's quantum fields still actively scanning the Imperial fleet. In 10,000 years of Imperial expansion, the head counselor finally spoke. "We have never encountered anything like this." Director James stepped forward. "Earth's quantum technology isn't just different from ours. It's fundamentally incompatible with how we understand physics. While we mastered energy fields, they learned to manipulate the fabric of reality itself." The youngest council member leaned forward. "But they're still primitive in many ways. They haven't even colonized their own solar system yet." "No," James agreed. "But in 7 days they reversed engineered our shield technology, developed countermeasures, and demonstrated weapons we can't defend against. Imagine what they could do with peaceful access to our knowledge." The Council's military advisor brought up new data. "We're detecting unusual activity in Earth orbit. Their quantum fields are building something." All eyes turned to the display. At a point high above Earth's North Pole, matter was appearing from nowhere, assembling itself into a structure. As they watched, a sleek vessel took shape. Earth's first faster-than-light ship, constructed using principles completely different from Imperial technology. "Impossible," someone whispered. "They couldn't have developed FTL drives so quickly." "They didn't copy our design," James explained, studying the readings. "They've developed their own method of FTL travel, using their quantum technology. They're not following our path to the stars. They're making their own." A message appeared on all screens, another broadcast from Earth. General Thompson's face appeared, looking tired but determined. "To the Imperial Council," he began, "we understand you're debating Earth's fate. While you deliberate, we want to demonstrate something else. Not our weapons, but our true goals." The image shifted to show Earth's new ship. "This is humanity's first faster-than-light vessel, the Explorer. We built it not to fight, but to learn. Its quantum drive doesn't tear through space like your ships. It creates corridors through the quantum fabric of reality itself." The ship's engines activated, creating a strange distortion that even Imperial sensors struggle to analyze. "We're launching this ship to prove a point. We don't want to be part of your empire, but we do want to join the galactic community. Not as subjects, but as equals. Not through conquest, but through mutual respect and shared discovery." The head counselor raised his hand, stopping the playback. "They're offering us something we've never had before. A chance to learn entirely new sciences. Their quantum technology could revolutionize our understanding of the universe." One by one, the council members began to nod. The decision, unprecedented in Imperial history, was made. Earth would not be classified as a target for integration. Instead, it would be designated as a sovereign civilization, one with technology the Empire needed to study and understand. Admiral Marcus smiled slightly as he received the Council's decision. On his screens, he watched Earth's Explorer ship create its quantum corridor, a shimmering pathway through space-time that defied Imperial physics. As the ship disappeared into the corridor, he realized that humanity hadn't just defended itself from the Empire. It had changed the Empire's view of what was possible. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. Tell them we look forward to learning from each other." As his communications officer transmitted the message, Marcus watched the quantum fields around his ship shift and change. The damaged engine section began to repair itself, manipulated by Earth's technology. They had chosen to help rather than harm, to teach rather than threaten. In the end, humanity's greatest weapon hadn't been their quantum technology or the Lazarus device. It had been their ability to imagine different paths, to think in ways the Empire never had. They had turned a potential conquest into a chance for mutual growth, and in doing so, they had changed the course of galactic history forever.